Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're heading north, way north, to Reykjavik, Iceland.
That's right. We've got this great article from MSN, 12 Best Things to Do in Reykjavik, written by someone named Jack. It looks like a really good mix of reviews and, expert suggestions.
Yeah, it seems perfect for giving us the highlights. So whether someone listening is actually planning a trip or just like exploring from their armchair, this should be useful.
Exactly. Think of it as our cheat sheet to Reykjavik's best bits. Our mission, if you will, is to pull out the key stuff from these 12 points, make it digestible, give you the real flavor of the city.
Okay, good plan. So where do we start? The article kicks off with the big one, right? Hallgrímskirkja.
Oh, yeah, you can't miss it. It's that really famous landmark church. The article says it looks like a spacecraft, which is actually pretty accurate, isn't it?
It really is so unique. And it took ages to build, apparently.
Yeah.
Like 1945 all the way to 1986.
Wow, yeah. Gudjon Samuelsson was the architect. It's this style called Expressionism, which gives it that really dramatic, almost organic look. Not your typical church steeple, for sure.
Definitely not. And it's made of concrete, but with a white granite coating. Gives it that distinct look. And it's tall, 244 feet.
Yeah, looms over the city. But it's not just the outside, right? The article mentions the inside, too.
Stained glass windows, apparently quite vibrant. But the real draw seems to be the observation deck.
Ah, the views. Always key.
Exactly. Panoramic city and sea views cost about 1,400 ISK for adults, which is roughly 10 US dollars, and just 200 ISK, like $1.40 for kids. Seems worth it for the perspective.
Yeah, definitely a good way to get your bearings. Okay, so number 2 on the list is Perlan.
Right, Perlan. It's described as a top museum, especially good if you've got kids. It's on Eskidjol Hill, so again, probably good views.
It sounds like more than just a standard museum, though.
Yeah.
They have this big Northern Lights show.
In a planetarium described as futuristic 8K 360 degrees. That sounds pretty immersive.
Wow. And then there's the ice cave. That caught my eye.
Mine too. It says it's 328 feet long, made from 350 tons of ice. The first of its kind, apparently, designed to teach people about Iceland's glaciers.
So you actually walk through a man-made glacier? That's pretty cool, literally.
Yeah. A very hands-on way to learn about them. And Perlan also has another observation deck on the roof, a revolving dome, even a restaurant. Sounds like a full afternoon.
Definitely. Okay, next up is maybe the most iconic Icelandic thing, the Blue Lagoon.
Ah, yes, the Blue Lagoon. Everyone's seen photos. The article calls it highly relaxing, which sounds about right. It's man-made, but fed by geothermal water.
That famous milky blue water, it's full of minerals, silica and stuff, and the temperature is just perfect, like 98 to 104 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, basically a giant natural hot tub, and the landscape around it is all volcanic rock. Looks really otherworldly.
And you can get drinks while you're in there, right, and use the silica mud for face masks.
The whole spa experience. They even have a fancy restaurant and a retreat spa if you want to go all out. And imagine seeing the northern lights while you're soaking there overnight.
Oh, wow, that would be something. And it's easy to get to from Reykjavik.
Yep, dedicated bus service, destination Blue Lagoon. Makes it pretty straightforward.
Okay, cool. Let's shift gears a bit from soaking to spotting wildlife, whale watching.
Right, Iceland's coast is apparently teeming with marine life. Minke whales, humpbacks, harbor porpoises. Sounds like you have a good chance of seeing something.
The typical trip is about 3 hours, leaving from Reykjavik Harbor, cruising Faxaflói Bay. So you get the whale spotting potential and coastal views.
And they mention having specially trained guides, which is probably helpful. You know where to look, what you're seeing.
Definitely adds value. And the main season for this is April to October, worth noting for planning.
Good point. Okay, next is another classic tour. The Golden Circle.
Yeah, you pretty much have to do the Golden Circle if you go to Iceland, don't you? It's that super popular route in the south.
Starts and ends in Reykjavik. Covers about 186 miles, so 300 kilometers. Hits some major spots.
Like Gullfoss Waterfall, which is massive, and Singvellir National Park, that's where the tectonic plates meet, right?
Yeah.
And it has huge historical importance, too.
Exactly. The article mentions an 8.5-hour full-day tour that covers those, plus the geyser geothermal area, where the word geyser comes from.
And it also includes the Carrad Crater, a volcanic crater lake.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. A bright blue lake and a volcanic crater adds another dimension to the usual Golden Circle stops.
Nice. Always good when tours add something a little different. Okay, back to the city itself, sort of. The Sun Voyager sculpture.
The Sulfar. It's that steel sculpture by the water that looks like a Viking ship frame.
Right, described here as a dreamboat. It was made by John Gunnar Arneson for Reykjavik's 200th anniversary back in 1986. Stainless steel and granite right on the Seabrought Road by the sea.
Sounds like a great photo spot.
Yeah.
The article specifically recommends going at sunrise.
Ah, for the light. And fewer crowds, probably.
Yeah, imagine the sky colors reflecting off the steel, the water. Sounds peaceful and really beautiful.
Definitely one for the early risers. Okay, now for something tricky in the city. Hunting down the northern lights.
Yeah, the article is realistic about this. Reykjavik has light pollution, obviously, so it's harder to see them there compared to out in the countryside.
Makes sense. Best time is September to April, needs dark, clear nights.
But it does suggest a couple of spots in Reykjavik that might be better. Perlin, again, because it's on that hill,
Yeah.
and Grotto Lighthouse, out on the Seltjornarnes Peninsula.
Right, those are probably your best bets for darker skies without leaving the city entirely. But you still need luck, clear weather, and, actual aurora activity.
For sure. Or, as the article suggests, you could book a specific Northern Lights tour that takes you out of the city. Plus, the guides often help you take photos, which can be tricky in the dark.
Good tip. Okay, back into the heart of the city streets. Skólavörðustígur, also known as Rainbow Street.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures of this. It's that shopping street leading up towards Hallgrímskirkja, and the road itself is painted like a rainbow.
A really vibrant symbol for the LGBTQ plus community.
Wow.
And the street itself sounds lovely. Cafes, vintage shops, souvenirs, restaurants, bars.
It specifically shouts out a vegan place, Mama Reykjavik, and their Dal alla Mama. Always good to have specific food recs.
Definitely. And it mentions looking back down the street from the top end towards Hallgrímskirkja is a great photo op, framing the church with the Rainbow Road.
Sounds iconic. Now for the evening scene, Reykjavik.
Right, described as Reykjavik's main shopping street, but it seems like it really transforms at night. Boutique shops, street art, but then lots of restaurants and bars come alive.
It sounds like where locals and tourists mix for a night out. The article suggests starting with dinner, maybe traditional Icelandic food in a place called Old Iceland. It mentions pan-fried Arctic char.
Sounds good. And then for drinks, places like Lebowski Bar themed after the movie, I assume. Or Einstök Bar.
Yeah, and maybe finishing the night at Dylan Whiskey Bar for some live music. Sounds like a proper Reykjavik night out plan.
Covers all the bases. Okay, for a bit more culture and history during the day, the National Museum of Iceland.
This sounds like the place to go for the big picture of Icelandic history. They have a main exhibition called Making a Nation.
Right, covering everything from the Viking settlement era up to modern times. Over 2,000 objects. That's quite comprehensive.
Yeah, including a ship from the settlement age, apparently, and loads of 20th century photos. Gives you a real timeline.
And they have temporary exhibitions, too. Currently one about the founding of the Republic in 1944.
Seems like a solid museum visit. Kids are free, adults around $21.50, so 3,000 ISK.
Reasonable. Now, for something completely different, the Icelandic Phallological Museum.
Yes, the article calls it Iceland's weirdest museum, and, well, it probably is. The world's only penis museum.
It's certainly unique, dedicated to collecting and studying, phalluses.
Over 300 specimens from all sorts of animals, whales, polar bears, zebras, even human ones.
It's quite the collection. And they lean into the theme, apparently. Souvenir shop, cafe with themed food.
Oh, yes. You have to admire the commitment. It's open daily, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., costs about $23.70 or 300 ISK. Definitely memorable. One way or another.
You wouldn't forget that visit in a hurry. Okay, last one on the list. Harpa Concert Hall.
Ah, another architectural standout. This one's much more modern, opened in 2011. Steel and glass down by the harbor.
The design is inspired by Iceland's basalt columns, right? Those geometric glass panels look incredible in photos.
Absolutely. The article says they're breathtaking, especially when the light hits them, and recommends photographing it in the evening or at night.
Why does it light up?
Yeah. It's illuminated with multicolored lights, often in the Icelandic flag colors. Sounds stunning. And you can go inside for free, even if you're not seeing a show, just to look around and check out the harbor views from the upper floors.
Nice. Another great photo opportunity then. So that's the 12. Quite a list.
It really is. I mean, just running through that gives you such a sense of the variety in Reykjavik. You've got the epic nature stuff like the Blue Lagoon and the whale watching, the Golden Circle.
Right, and then these really unique cultural things like Hallgrímskirkja, Harpa, the museums, even the Phallological Museum, and then just the vibrant street life like Rainbow Street and Reykjavik.
It really paints a picture of a city that blends its incredible natural surroundings with a really distinct, sometimes quirky cultural identity. Something for pretty much everyone, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Whether you want geothermal relaxation, Viking history, cutting-edge design, or just a fun night out, it seems like Reykjavik delivers.
So maybe the thought to leave our listeners with is, what blend of those experiences most appeals? Is it the raw nature, the unique culture, the city buzz? Thinking about that might be the first step to planning or just dreaming about your own Reykjavik adventure.
Yeah, it makes you wonder which piece of Reykjavik you'd connect with first and where that might lead you next. Definitely a city that sparks curiosity.